Hello to everyone in the chat. Unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances, Jen wasn't able to join us. But I think I found a bit of a suitable substitute, given that you're a badger.
Hello, everyone. This is Bad Tempered Badger over here. I'm a last-minute badger substitute because of circumstances.
Yeah.
I have just learnt the topic title, so let's see.
Yeah. So
I've got tea though. I'm British and I have tea, so we're prepared.
Yes. So
yes, I am.
So I mean, in some ways, except for the fact that you don't really know the subject matter at hand, it's almost more suitable because you're a British talking badger.
That is true, and I brought lots of little animal friends in the background here as well.
So, So, anyways, hi, Dave. Hi, Rain. Hi, Danger Hissy. Happy to see all three of you in the chat.
Hello, everyone.
And of course, that's Hissy making a joke because my house is Hufflepuff.
Strangely enough, so is mine, and my tea is in a Hufflepuff mug.
Fair enough.
It was massively overpriced at the Harry Potter thing in London.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like if you want to get Harry Potter merch in the UK, you go to Primark. You don't go to any official place.
Yeah, but this is a pint mug, so.
Oh, it comes in pints.
I'm getting one. Okay, so what's the actual topic?
Okay.
What are we talking about?
So, the Robert Downey Jr. Dr. Doolittle movie recently came out, and and honestly, I was a bit excited for it based off the trailers, but then the reviews were not good.
Okay.
So I figured it'd be nice to talk about the themes in the Dr. Doolittle books, maybe touch on the Rex Harrison musical a little bit, and then kind of almost pitch on what would make a good Dr. Doolittle movie based on that theme, on the themes present in the books.
Mm-hmm.
Because it seems to me that when adapting to different mediums, it's almost more important to focus on the themes that you're exploring than to focus on specific details. And welcome back, Rain.
Hello. Yes.
Yeah.
I have amazing input on this entire process.
Yeah. Well, okay.
I'm just getting some stuff up on my other screen here, so I have some idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So, and quick disclaimer: this is in no way sponsored. So, in any ways, this is in no way sponsored, but there is this organization called Project Gutenberg where they take out of print, out of copyright books and make ebooks out of them and then offer them for free. And I do have a link in the description, and there are actually 3 of the Dr. Doolittle books on that website. The Story of Dr. Doolittle, The Voyage of Dr. Doolittle, which seems to be what most of the film adaptations that aren't Eddie Murphy seem to be lifting from. And then
Eddie Murphy did a thing, didn't they?
Yeah. And then Dr. Doolittle's post office. And hello, Rodent. And hello, Jen. So, but So Dr. Doolittle was, the Dr. Doolittle books were published in the 1920s. So yes, there is quite a bit of casual Victorian racism in there.
Now, I have some issues to raise here. I think it's you can't say that the Victorians were racist. They were just clearly better than everyone else, and everyone else should have just admitted that.
Interesting, because and this will probably be touched on more if we ever get around to talking about Edgar Rice Burroughs. But
seriously, the British imperialism at that time was really awkward.
Yeah, there's a section in okay, so casual old-timey racism there. But there's a section in I think it's the Beasts of Tarzan. It was one of the sequel books where Tarzan talks about how Tarzan likes the Arabs better than everyone else because they're the perfect mix of civilized and savage.
Okay, that's yeah, that's a thing that happens.
Yeah, but so, and I, completely understand why the casual old-timey racism wouldn't really gel with modern audiences.
You think not?
No, I don't think so. But and there is also the slight problem that the character of Dr. Doolittle has kind of become an archetype shorthand for like anyone who talks to animals as their one thing. But
it's their one thing that they do.
Yeah, the one thing that they it's like I can talk to animals, but there are some kernels
supposed to have other traits as well.
Yeah, well that's the thing is, like in most adaptations, the musical notwithstanding, they just lift the I can talk to animals and then just kind of leave it at that. But in the books, and it's kind of portrayed in the musical, only an American would call the 1920s old timey. I'm jam jars older than your country.
I'm pretty sure that I have tools in this house that are older than America.
Yeah. But so there's in the books and in the Rex Harrison musical, it's not really a power, it's a skill. He's learned how to talk to animals. He's basically an animal linguist.
Okay, so this is not an innate magic ability, it's something he has researched and can now do.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and it kind of ties to and apparently America isn't a real country anymore.
No, it's just actors. You know how in a lot of things you find that your major character in your film is actually it's an American character but played by a British actor.
Yeah.
That's just the whole country.
The whole country is British actors pretending to be American. Oh, that's why Trump doesn't want any Mexicans in, because they'll break the illusion. But
he's just a really bad actor. Anyway.
Yeah. So, there's the fact that it was a learned skill, and it, at least the Voyage of Dr. Doolittle and presumably the story of Dr. Doolittle, I haven't read that one, but it does delve into a genre of fantasy or sci-fi and fantasy that was fairly popular, fairly popular in the late, the late 17th to early 19th century. It's like exploration fantasy, where you have all these gaps in the map, and you have the writers just taking their characters and taking them to the gaps in that map and just imagining what crazy weird stuff is going on there.
It's the kind of thing that modern steampunk stories often try to emulate, but with less racism.
Yeah. So, and of course, because Dr. Doolittle has this skill where he talks to animals and he, behaves very differently in regards to them.
Mm-hmm.
Math Pig, these shenanigans we're talking about the themes in the Dr. Doolittle books. It's actually the one thing that we can't blame on you.
I am an expert in this topic, as you know, by my showing up at the last minute.
Yeah. And of course, I'm also talking to animals. I am talking to a badger. But so, he there is somewhat a theme of animal rights in I think it's more of a fawn, because or at least in regards to white-tailed deer, the adult coloring hasn't quite come in.
Oh, it'll come back in a minute, and we can try and figure it out.
Yeah. But he treats animals differently, so he is seen as a very eccentric person because he prefers the company of animals to the company of people, and he treats them a lot more humanely than other people of the time would. And Math Pig, we're actually talking about the books and somewhat touching on the Rex Harrison musical. We are going way back. And so you have the themes of eccentricity, you have the themes of seeking out knowledge, and you have the theme, both in the fact that he's the one guy who's made it his life's work to study this, and actually apparently the War of the Roses is breaking out in the chat.
Yes. This can happen when you have a lot of people from the British Isles in your chat. We occasionally just have the War of the Roses again.
Yeah. Well, see, at least, maybe because we're all actors, at least, Americans don't break out into a second civil war every time we're in the chat. So
we often also have a lot of North-South rivalry.
Yeah. But so you have the, theme of finding new knowledge, both because the doctor, Dr. Doolittle is a linguist and a bit of a veterinarian on the side.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and actually in the books, he does have a bit of an apprentice who he's teaching, and who he's teaching how to, speak the languages of animals. And actually, the books are more written from the apprentice's point of view, as he's like documenting the adventures of the doctor.
Interesting.
And
a cunning linguist.
Oh, yeah, you're getting a bit on the line there, nerdy. It took me a second to get that innuendo.
Innuendo. Right.
Oh, okay. Oh, and the deer's saying hi again. And yeah, spotted, so it's probably a fawn. I mean, it could be, doe and buck is, male female, so it could well be one or the other. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, so
I'm not going to ask. I'm not asking this deer.
yeah,
I don't like to make assumptions about such things.
yeah. Yeah, it's not very it's not really a fair question to ask and uninvited. But so in my opinion, in regards to either way, it's cute. And of course Hissy would know that because she's obsessed with cute things. But looking at the eccentricity, looking at the exploration and knowledge, one of my suggestions for what would make a good Dr. Doolittle movie would actually gender swapping the main character.
Okay.
Instead of making the main character a man, making her a woman, especially setting it in, late 19th, early 20th century England. How most scientists that were taken all scientists that were taken seriously were men. I feel that making the doctor, Dr. Doolittle, a woman would touch on to the to more onto the eccentric but brilliant themes and be a better way of exploring those. Basically take a little bit from the story of like Mary Anning, who like basically funded modern paleontology just by knowing where to look for the fossils and such.
Yes. I think that could actually be an interesting dynamic. Would you be talking about setting it in a more modern setting or more in the historical setting?
No, I like if I were to make Dr. Doolittle a female, I would be setting it in the historical setting. And also, in my opinion, it'd be best, instead of trying to build a franchise on the character, because while there are a lot of amusing adventures in the books, they do like for instance, they do get weirdly mundane aside from the fantastic voyages.
Like aside from him talking to animals, essentially.
Oh yeah. The books at least are very much about the juxtaposition between the fantastical and the mundane. Like the fantastical is he talks to animals, but how does he use this knowledge? He writes an opera based off the life of a canary. That's literally the plot of one book. Is it goes from writing to like staging the opera.
Something I always find quite interesting in fiction is Dr. Doolittle. Something I find quite interesting in fiction is when a character has some kind of amazing ability or fantastical attribute, but they don't become a superhero.
Yeah,
they just carry on doing stuff, and occasionally, it is a more grounded story, but they have this ability in it. Like, I would like to see a film that's just like superheroes, but not superheroing.
Yeah,
it's a film of like Wolverine accidentally ruining a cake again. You know, the Cyclops just there, like, Logan, what are you doing?
Very much a slice of life, like the stuff that you know has to happen, but and to be fair, if you did it in a somewhat modern setting, though we all know how that ended up with at least the Eddie Murphy movies. That could, if you go with the juxtaposition of the fantastical and the mundane, that could work really well, because like I said, there's a book about him writing an opera based off the life of this canary. Or
is the canary a friend of his?
Oh he like befriends this canary, and she like tells him her life story, and he turns it into an opera. And all of the actors in the opera are animals.
Well,
yeah. Or
for a very eccentric doctor who can talk to animals and has great care for animals, I think that makes complete sense. That is exactly the sort of thing you would do.
Yeah, and there's, one of the other books, the Zoo of Dr. Doolittle, is basically about how he turned his private grounds, he turned his land into essentially a private zoo, but instead of like just instead of the standard menagerie, he actually consulted the animals and made like little towns for them.
Okay, so he's essentially made a nature reserve where he goes and has chats with the animals.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a scene in one of the books where he's in Spain, and he gets on about the bullfighting.
Yeah.
And then Dr. Doolittle takes on PETA. It's like, yeah, because he'd like support, treating animals humanely, but I think he would be against especially the fact that, PETA just murders everything that comes into their shelters.
Yeah. They're not good.
Yeah, but so anyways, he gets into a bullfighting thing, and he just he puts on a show by vaulting off doing somersaults around the bull and riding on it, and just putting on a better show than a bullfight, essentially, but doing it peaceably.
So he says, hey, Bill, can you look that way a minute?
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to stand here. Can you give me a hand doing a backflip?
Yeah. Yeah, essentially. But, though, like I said, there's not really a lot that you can get a franchise out of the character, in my opinion.
Probably not for modern film audiences, no.
Yeah. But, that being said, in regards to the exploratory fiction, that came out of that era, and the fact that a lot of it is in public domain, what you could do is, make a movie establishing the character, and then use it as a recurring guest character, and going off on expeditions as, the resident naturalist.
As the setup for something else, maybe.
Yeah. I could very much see take,
if you establish the character traits,
yeah,
and then include that character with other characters in a thing, that could be quite interesting.
Yeah. I could very
a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen kind of thing.
Yeah, almost. And I could very well see, you dropping, taking the character Dr. Doolittle and say dropping him into an adaptation of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's The Lost World.
If all right, what am I talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, if I was going to make a film adaptation myself of Dr. Doolittle, I think, now this may be an unpopular opinion, but here's what I think I would do. Have you seen the Around the World in 80 Days film with Jackie Chan in it?
Yes.
I would do something like that, where you have this eccentric character, and he's got his thing that he's going to do, and then you make another story around it to help frame that for your current audience. Also, one of my favorite lines from that film is Phileas Fogg just going, "This is what happens when you leave your home. You meet people."
Oh, though there is we're going slightly off topic because I've got to bring this up. There's actually a chapter in the original book, Around the World in 80 Days, that literally just Jules Verne making jokes about Mormons.
Outstanding.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very much a comedy / travelogue.
I'm gonna have to look up some more of Jules Verne's books.
Yeah. But so some of Jules Verne's stuff would very much fits in that.
Jules Verne's one of the people that is widely regarded as starting off the whole steampunk thing, isn't he?
Well, yeah, but to be fair, when he was writing it, it was just straight up science fiction because that's what they had at the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird because Jules Verne's stuff moved from being science fiction to being steampunk when our science progressed.
Well, steampunk is essentially science fiction, but from a historical perspective.
Yeah, very much so. But like things like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Mm-hmm.
I could very well see you dropping this character in to a journey like that.
Yeah,
it's like
I can get on board with that.
Yeah, especially since it starts off with they're hunting this rumored sea monster, and especially in the Rex Harrison musical and in the books, there is kind of and it's it's a side onto it kind of is part of the filling in the maps. There is like a lot of like cryptozoology almost, because you have creatures like the push me pull you and the great glass sea snail, which is like a snail big enough that you can ride in the shell of. And so there are like fantastical beasts that are out there, and so I can very much see it's like, oh, there's this sea monster wrecking all these ships. I've got to figure out what's behind this. I've got to see if I can go talk to it. And then,
in this fantastical world, these sea monsters, whatever, are just part of nature.
Yeah. It could very well be part of nature, but then, of course, it turns out to be the submarine, the Nautilus, and then 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. You'd be setting up a world where, like, anything could be possible, but because you just don't know.
And it's an interesting way of getting everything to fit together.
Yeah. Or like I said, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's The Lost World, where it's literally about an expedition to this South American plateau where there are still dinosaurs around.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you want to have it historical, then or if you want to have it focus on the exploration and the knowledge portions of the knowledge themes of the works, then I'd suggest going historical and then just making like an almost League of Extraordinary Gentlemen-esque MCU kind of exploratory fiction universe.
I would like to see a redone League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Oh yeah.
I don't. There's very few people making films these days that I think would be capable of doing it well.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a very, very much a fair point. Well, and the fact is, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen got Sean Connery to retire, essentially.
Did a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, because he signed on, and then it tanked at the box office. He's like, okay, I'm only going to be accepting scripts that I understand. Hello, Amiga Nuts. And then he gets the script for Lord of the Rings, and he turns it down because he couldn't understand it. And then Lord of the Rings exploded in the box office, and he's like, God damn it! I guess I'll just retire. Though, to be fair, it like over the course of his career, it very much seemed like Sean Connery decided what movies he'd be in by throwing darts at a wall.
I think he was just having a laugh with a lot of them.
Yeah.
That one with the giant stone heads.
Oh yeah, Zardoz.
No, that's the one.
Which I actually haven't seen, but I know of its existence, and I feel that's all I need to know about it. It's like, okay, this exists. Good to know. But also, I think part of the reason, well, I for one haven't seen League, but it seems to me that you've got to kind of follow Marvel's roadmap when you're building a cinematic universe, because if you try,
something to introduce each of the characters before you try to do the ensemble one.
Yeah. It seems like everyone's trying to rush forward into the ensemble, and then that kills it because it becomes a convoluted mess where you're trying to establish everything in a movie.
And it doesn't really work if you've got to introduce. If you're trying to fit it into a normal film length, you can't really introduce more than a couple of major characters.
Ooh,
Now that's an interesting question you just brought up there.
Yeah, that's a very good question, Hissy. I personally like.
That's just a really good question.
There
are quite a few actors. Who would play your dream Dr. Doolittle? Now, I'm just going to look up the character traits of Dr. Doolittle.
Yeah. Now, I personally really liked Rex Harrison's portrayal in the musical. So I think if we were going with dead actors, that would actually probably be my answer. Mm-hmm. Though alive, personally, I think I'd go with Matt Smith if we were going male.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I'm not. I don't know too many actresses, so let's see.
I'm just reading the character traits here.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I've got this right, this is from... Oh, it's from the Gutenberg people.
Yeah.
We have Dr. John Doolittle, MD, is a doctor who became a doctor for animals when his parrot, Polynesia, taught him to speak the language of animals.
Yeah.
He lived in the fictional town of Puddleby-on-the-Marsh, commonly referred to as Puddleby, with his many animals. He has very few human friends and spends most of his time treating animals, traveling the world with his animals, and conducting research into new animals and new forms of animal languages. So he's kind of a bit of an eccentric recluse.
Yeah.
Who spends most of his time chatting with animals.
Yeah.
I could see a version of that being played well by Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
But let me think of who I would actually want to play the character rather than could that actor play him well. I don't. This isn't my serious view on it, but I would like to see Michael Caine do it.
That would. Oh my gosh, that would. Yeah, that would be amazing. As like, based on the description, Hissy would like to see Hugh Grant.
I would like to see Hugh Grant try.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. But for a male actor, I'd probably go Matt Smith.
Yeah, I could kind of see that working actually, because Matt Smith is quite good at the kind of eccentric gentleman kind of character. It wasn't him taking over as the Doctor that made me stop watching during his run. It was the writing of the episodes around his Doctor.
Yeah.
But there was an element of, this man is not David Tennant. How can this possibly happen?
Yeah.
Let's see.
And welcome back, Grant.
Who's the guy who... let me look this up. Give me a sec.
Okay. Yeah, still having trouble thinking of a good actress.
I'm gonna get onto that in a little while.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with... I'm probably going to pronounce his name wrong. I'm going to go with David Wenham.
David, okay.
Have you seen the 2004 film Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman as Van Helsing?
Unfortunately not.
All right. I can't use that as my explanation of who he is then. Let's see, what's he been in? What's he been in recently, rather?
Yeah.
He was in the Pirates of the Caribbean, Pirates of the Caribbean, The Dead Men Tell No Tales. Who did he play it?
Can't convince me that Steve Irwin couldn't talk to animals.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think if we're looking for a real life Dr. Doolittle example, you would have to go with Steve Irwin.
Yeah,
he was kind of killed by a stingray, and if I'm remembering this correctly, the account of him being killed by a stingray was make sure you get the stingray out of me so that the stingray can swim off and not be harmed.
Yeah. Yeah, though, I mean, basing a modern Dr. Doolittle off of Steve Irwin could come much come across as disrespectful if you don't do it right.
Yes. He was in, not Steve Irwin I'm talking about now. He was, David Wenham. He was in 300.
Okay.
He was the guy who lost an eye.
Okay. I haven't seen 300, but I think I know the character you're talking about.
Yeah, he was in the sequel they did like ages later as well.
Yeah.
I would like to see him play Dr. Doolittle because I think he'd bring that element of bumbling eccentricity and awkwardness to the role quite well.
Yeah.
Also, I want Jackie Chan to be in it.
Yeah, you want Jackie Chan to be in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now the question is, if you put Jackie Chan in it, where would the kung fu scene be? Because there's got to be at least one kung fu scene in a Jackie Chan movie.
I think it would be like it is in the Around the World in 80 Days thing, where they're going on some kind of adventure, and I could maybe play Dr. Doolittle.
Well, I mean, you already have the animals like frolicking all around you.
Let's see. I think it would have to be like an Around the World in 80 Days with Jackie Chan kind of setup if that was going to do it. And it would have to be they're going on some kind of animal-related adventure, possibly one of the least interesting ones from the books.
Yeah.
And there's also a Jackie Chan comedy action story going on alongside it. That's how I think that would work.
Yeah.
And you could have him bump into a load of other historical figures as well.
Yeah. And Danger Hissy says Lee Evans.
I have a very hit and miss relationship with Lee Evans.
Let's see. Nerd. And Quentin Tarantino's Dr. Doolittle. Oh my god.
I would like to see that.
Yeah.
I would like to see a Tarantino do, in the style of Tarantino films, a Dr. Doolittle film.
And in that case, I'd like to see Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes.
As Dr. Doolittle.
You can't really cast anyone else at that point.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you got John Travolta back.
He says, "Get off my back, motherfucker."
Have you seen that? Have you seen that picture of somebody's redone the poster for that Disney ripoff film?
No.
Yeah, the one, the Last Jedi. They redid the photo. They redid the poster. They replaced every character with Samuel L. Jackson, just as Mace Windu. It says Star Wars: The Last Motherfucker.
And Amiga Nut says that Jackie could be the master teaching the animals to fight PETA.
All right, I'm trying to think if we're gender swapping Dr. Doolittle. I'm trying to think who I would play Dr. Doolittle. So say words like entertain everyone. Yeah.
Danger Hissy says, the more I think about this, the more I definitely think Lee Evans, especially if it has Jackie Chan in it. Those two are hilarious together.
Oh yeah, they did the medallion, didn't they?
Yeah. And I
forgot about the medallion.
And Nerdy Rodent says Gordon Ramsay presents Dr. Doolittle and Friends. You
could do some fun stuff with Gordon Ramsay. You could just have you fucking donkey, and then a donkey walks out. Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, if we're gender swapping the character, who do I want?
And, well, this is the world of Dr. Doolittle. Life is a zoo to Dr. Doolittle. There you go, Critical Cripple.
That's a difficult question for me.
Yeah,
because a lot of the female actors that are kind of my favorite actors are not really people who play like eccentric characters.
yeah. That's kind of the same problem I'm running into, especially
one of my favorite like ladies in media at the moment is Gina Carano.
Yeah.
And while I'd like to see her take on Dr. Doolittle, I don't think it would do very well.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, we're both doing searching random. Yeah.
No, I'm looking up like my favorite films and trying to figure out who from them I would want to. Oh, thanks. Most of these people are dead.
Yes. Like, oh, let's see. Nerdy Rodent says Susan Boyle. Danger Hissy says Emma Thompson. I can't think of anything I've seen her in, but possibly Emily Blunt. But that's just going off the fact that she was in the new Mary Poppins, and from what I read, her rendition of the character was
okay. The only person coming to mind at the moment playing eccentric recluse kind of characters is Tilda Swinton, and I think she is the wrong kind of eccentric.
Yeah. Yeah. So in this, if we did gender swap the character, it probably wouldn't be as much reclusive as more everyone just kind of dismisses her.
I kind of think the reclusive bit and the eccentric part is I think that's kind of important to the character, and I've just figured out who I want to play.
Oh, really?
Sigourney Weaver, as Nerdy Rodent says, it was definitely be one of the options, but Helena Bonham Carter.
Actually, yeah, I can actually see that.
I have that's my choice for female Dr. Doolittle.
So now you've got me picturing Tim Burton presents Dr. Doolittle. Oh my god!
It is him she's married to, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. She's in like all of his films.
Yeah.
Somebody like it's just her and Johnny Depp, isn't it?
Yeah.
I saw a meme a while ago. It was just him sort of having an angry conversation with Johnny Depp, just saying, "Why did you not tell me there are more actors than you and my wife?"
Yeah. So, but yeah, I can see that if we can get her to work for anyone other than Tim Burton.
Well, she did the Harry Potter films.
Oh yeah, she did.
Yeah, I would like to see her as Dr. Doolittle. There we go.
Yeah. Deepak Chopra presents Dr. Doolittle.
Ned, are you just naming people who should not, under any circumstances, have anything to do with Dr. Doolittle?
Well, I don't know, because I could very I could very much see, a Tarantino Dr. Doolittle movie, almost as a parody, but it would work on some levels.
Oh. Who plays Molly Weasley? Give me a sec.
Yeah. Magic of Google. Let's see. Julie Walters.
Julie Walters. Thank you very much. That could work.
Yeah. Ooh. Which YouTuber would make the best Dr. Doolittle?
I don't want to say me, but me.
I'd love to take a crack at the character. I think that'd be something that'd be very fun to play. However, I'm not sure if I could.
I'd voice the character in an audio drama.
Yeah.
Who else could we have? Let me I'd like to see I'd like to see I Hate Everything do it.
Yeah. See, I'm currently talking to a badger right now, so
I'd like to see a YouTuber called I Hate Everything do it.
Yeah. And apparently Amiga wants Shannon Q. Shannon Q to be the female Dr. Doolittle.
Actually, why not Nervadia?
Actually,
she already talks to a snake all the time.
Yeah. No. The snake's telling me that he lost his legs in Genesis, which proves that evolution is stupid. And Hissy says, as his wife can confirm, Ring is definitely eccentric enough.
I'm not like at all eccentric.
I could see Nervardia as a female Dr. Doolittle.
I'd watch that. Make that a film.
Now where do we find a well-trained parrot?
Let's see. Oh shit! I broke Twitter. That was different. That's Nervadia. Does anyone? Oh, I can't spell.
Yeah.
I spelt it right, and it didn't come up as an option. Thanks, Twitter. At Nervadia should play Dr. Doolittle. Name. Somebody tell me like a film making company that's not shit.
No.
Who did John Wick?
What? Okay, let's see. Hold on.
One second. Let me just let me sort this out.
Yeah. Thunder Road Pictures was the production company.
Right, give me 1 second. I just need to sort this out. That one.
Yeah, we don't want to give Disney any more any more.
There we go.
We don't want to give Disney any more properties. They already have enough.
There should be a thing for you at the bottom of the StreamYards there, Ray.
And I'll go ahead and add it.
Who was it? Who was it who did John Wick?
The production company is Thunder Road Pictures.
Thunder Road. Not Thunderfoot. Although, what would you think about Thunderfoot playing Dr. Doolittle? Was it Thunder Road?
Mental image of John WickDoLittle.
There we go.
Yeah. And it is tweeted.
Dr. John WickDoLittle.
Yeah. They killed his dog, so he killed them. The atheist animal experience.
I think Navardia is going to have an interesting morning.
Yes. What is it with my streams and just like start and them just starting shit on Twitter? Because we have this, and then we have the Disney Doctor Who hoax that I started.
Oh, that was you?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to come around your house and sort you out.
Well, yeah, I was on one of Jen's after shows, and we were just talking about it, and I was like, this has to go on Twitter. And then there was the other one where where we were talking about how pineapples were probably the forbidden fruit. So I tweeted out pineapple on pizza is the perfect sin.
Yeah, it's a sin, even from an atheist perspective. You should not do that.
Yeah. But anyways, I think we've kind of run out of things to talk about, and David Worley's promoting his Dave Con on a stream, so might as well do the shilling and close this out.
All right. What are we doing right now?
Chill yourself.
Oh, okay. Hello. I am Bad Tempered Badger. I have a YouTube channel that I haven't posted on for a couple of months. Oh no, I did a really bad talk about Star Wars. I may have some nature videos coming out soon, though, if I ever finish editing the bloody things. Oh, I have a collaboration possibly with Navardia and Not Your Witness. If we ever manage to finish it. What was I saying apart from that? Yes. Oh, I may apparently be starring as Dr. Doolittle in the BBC radio drama.
Ah.
I haven't yet approached the BBC about this.
Oh, and you wasted time tweeting Thunder Road Pictures about Navardia. But
well, that's the film version. I'm doing the audio drama.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Okay. Yeah, you can find me on YouTube, Twitter, Gab, Minds, and Pornhub.
Yeah.
Oh, and BitChute. I always forget BitChute in that little speech.
And as for me, I actually did manage to finish filming my Focus on the Family video, so it will be released on time. Next week, next weekend on Media Musings, we are going to be talking about Lovecraft.
Ooh.
Are you just like feeling like you were on the wrong episode?
I know about as much about. No, I know slightly more about that than I do about Dr. Doolittle, but not enough to be more than the soundboard.
Okay, fair enough. And so next weekend on Media Musings, we'll be covering H.P. Lovecraft because the Color Out of Space has been recently released worldwide. So, and on the 8th of February, I'll be on Neil's channel talking about my deconversion, as well as on Chris's channel, Roasting Ken Ham. So
that's a good thing to do.
Yeah, definitely. But
he's a silly boy, Ken Ham.
Yeah, and I already know what your sign out thing is, so I'll just go ahead and say that, remember, indoctrination is a hell of a drug, and you can do your sign out.
Oh, bye.